Well, of course, in these times, we're all adapting to changes to how we work, changes to how we live our lives.
And in some cases, there are changes to how we say goodbye to life as well. WFMZ's Wendy Davis has more on that.
With the coronavirus and social distancing, handling loss has been one of the hardest parts. Many funerals we've seen in this pandemic have been very limited or even virtual. This, though, was different.
The parameters are very specific. There's no more than 8 to 10 of the families in the tent. They all wear masks.
A drive-through visitation.
We're allowing cars to come through the tent, partially open up their window to give their condolences, and then exit.
For the family of Nate Graves, a 22-year-old who died this week of leukemia.
In this crazy world that we're in right now, in this situation, I appreciate the fact that we can at least do this where people can see Nate and remember his beautiful face.
A life that was far too short, but Nate lived life. Active duty in the Air Force, even getting married while going through treatment in the hospital this year.
He has this contagious smile. I mean, I was so blessed to meet him and to love him and to have someone like that love me.
So much of recovering from loss takes the help of those around you, something that's especially hard right now.
I just love the fact that people are able, maybe it's just for a few seconds, but to drive by and at least and just see him, yeah, and just let him know we love him and we thank him for coming.
More than 100 people showed up Saturday. This is the first time they've tried this at the Forest Lawn Funeral Home and hope to be able to extend the same type of service to other families.
Traditional viewings and funeral gatherings of more than 10 people aren't allowed, so the Kentalme Long Funeral Home in Bethlehem is adapting its usual services for these unusual times.
So we're doing a drive-through viewing.
On this night, friends and family are saying goodbye to Andrew Spivak III, or Andy. But funeral director and grandson Justin Kuiper just called him Pop.
It's never easy, but you know, having the opportunity to provide this for my family really is an honor for me.
Andy died suddenly due to complications from the coronavirus, which is why the family, especially his wife of 55 years, Mary Ann, wanted a way for people to come and say their final goodbyes.
This drive-through viewing is fitting for him because he would want something that's different. As odd as it sounds, I think he would love it.
So without ever leaving their cars, mourners paid their respects from a respectful 6-foot distance.
A drive-through viewing in the age of social distancing. This is the InsideEdition.com coronavirus news for April 17th, 2020. A funeral home near Memphis, Tennessee offers families a safe way to pay their last respects. Instead of gathering together in large groups, mourners drive by a window. Some people get out of their cars.
Where a large group of family members can get together and gather, and they're in their automobiles, and everybody's still safe and practicing social distancing.
The space used to be a bank. It's been operating for 3 years, but its business has grown 50% since the pandemic began. The coronavirus has changed the way we say goodbye. The socially distant turnout was massive at an Indiana police officer's service. Police cars lined the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the Indy 500. Breanne Leith was killed last week while responding to a domestic violence call. Hundreds of fellow officers turned out for her live-stream service.
And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
Her passing remains a stinging reminder of all the risks those who wear the uniform make every day.
Indiana's governor spoke. He wore gloves. A few months ago, they would have been an unusual sight, but not now.
And while a global pandemic may keep us physically separated today, the sun rose this morning on a city that has come together as one, united in admiration for our fallen hero.
In Pennsylvania, a man's funeral was live-streamed through a tablet. Mourners signed an electronic guest book, and most stayed in their cars. In England, where nearly 13,000 people have died from COVID-19, funeral services are severely backlogged.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
One funeral home that usually handles 50 to 60 services a month reported it recently had over 2 dozen in one day.
It's a blur, to be honest. It's just crazy. All the sensitivity's been taken out of a funeral. There's just, it's unbelievable. I've never known anything like it.
There's always hope that there might not be anyone else that needs our care, but if that's the way it goes, then we're more than happy to go out and help those people.
Funeral home employees must wear PPE, just like healthcare providers, and everybody needs to take special precautions.
There's never a good time to lose someone, but during this period, it just, makes the whole process so much more difficult.
Get a lot of things without leaving the comfort of your car. That now includes paying your final respects in a drive-through window.
I just wanted to provide a different service to our families.
That service, called drive-through viewing, recently debuted at Ivan Phillips's funeral home.
As you enter into the drive-through, you're going to see a memorial box where you can drop a memorial card or a monetary contribution. Once you push the button, the register box will open up. At that time, you may sign your name in the register book. Then you proceed forward, and when you proceed forward, the curtains will draw back, and you may pay your respects to the loved one 3 minutes from the privacy of your vehicle.
A few other funeral homes in the country offer a drive-through service, but Phillips says Paradise Funeral Chapel is the first in the Midwest. It's designed for mourners with physical limitations. So far, only a couple of families have taken advantage of the drive-through. But Phillips is expecting that to change once people find out it's not a gimmick and is safe.
I didn't just want something that anyone off the streets can walk up and view. We still have to respect the family and their deceased loved one.
The curtains open only when sensors underneath the pavement recognize the weight of a vehicle.
Basically, it's just technology creating an image for you to have a visitation from the presence of your car.
Sometimes going to a funeral can be inconvenient. You've got to park, get out, walk, sit through a eulogy, listen to people crying, not to mention you have to wear something black. Luckily, it doesn't have to be like this. In Compton, the Robert L. Adams Mortuary is offering a special drive-through service for mourners, just like Wendy's. Look at that. You can literally look at the body in the casket without having to leave the comfort of your own vehicle, unless you want to. You simply roll up, roll down the window, and roll out. Also, the display window is made of bulletproof glass. According to the owner, Mrs. Scott Adams, you can come by after work. You don't have to deal with parking. You can sign the book outside, and the family knows that you paid your respects.